He's a giant killer, but overcoming Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. He's a colossal giant of this game, who's looking to join a who's who of players who've been world and US Open champion. It's a race to 13. It will be unlucky for one of them. A referee just taking the trophy away for the next hour or so is Desislava Boshilova, and we're about to begin with the lag. What an occasion.
Yeah, this is special. It's always going to be special. It's the World Championship Nineball final. Sanchez,
Mohammad
yes,
Soufi wins the
start of the week. Many would have predicted maybe he would be there, but that man right there, what a surprise, what a week, what a player.
Sanchez Ruiz has won in all kinds of ways. Dominating matches, coming from behind. Started out with a 9-0 whitewash. He's an overwhelming favourite, but don't write off Mohammad Soufi. You do so at your peril.
Breaks off with an open bridge. Many of the players use the loop bridge, JJ.
Yeah, it's not something you're going to see very, very often. He's been pretty good with it, though, and I'll tell you, we talked about it earlier. He's been breaking the balls well, and he gets a lot of action on the 9. Now, the last 2 matches, one via a mistake from Albin Ocean, and the other just good play from Sufi. He started off with a 1-0 lead early, and I think wouldn't hurt him on any here to do the same. Pretty nice hit, stretching. Didn't get the snooker, but didn't leave anything easy.
Because he lost his opening match to Mateusz Snigotsky, Sufi was sent to the one-loss side of the draw immediately. From there, he's won 7 consecutive matches. This, he's 140th rack of the championship.
Yeah, something special. Like every ball probably was something just building for the young man. And a touchy shot here to start. Do you come up behind the 8, trying to put the 2 on the other side rail here? This is a difficult safety to run the cue ball, just because the 6 is kind of making for a big pocket, just in case he leaves a piece of the 2.
Yeah, and the potting ability and obviously the big break Sanchez has got, his safety has really improved. Can he handle this one?
It's going to catch the point, maybe. Oh, Sufi's going to get his first opening, I think. I don't know, maybe not.
No, I think he's on this, JJ.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now, he makes quick decisions and even quicker strokes for the most part. And he wasn't looking to see if he can get at it. He's looking to see if he can go forward with the cue ball. Yeah, authority. And you'll see many 9 balls if he gets to shoot at him. Shot with the same type of speed.
Cue's very much like the German legend Oliver Ortmann, very similar. It's unorthodox, but for this game, you spin the cue ball around. The pockets are a little more generous, so as JJ said, he can get some action on the cue ball.
Yeah, he's a very good striker of the balls, what I would call it. Just not necessarily the, the most perfect fundamentals to swing the cue, but what he does at impact is pretty good. You can hear a real crisp hit on the cue ball most of the time. And he's shown us when it comes to this side of the game, it's probably where he's the least behind a guy like Sanchez, right? Clearing the table.
This is always a nice shot from the 8 ball. It's a shot that always comes up on a 9 ball table, but it's a shot that if you hit it nice and you get on the 9, it feels good, doesn't it? It'll just settle him down early on, so yeah, there you see, you can just fire it into the rail, cue ball comes out. He means business in this final, Phil.
of pressure. This is nothing. He hails from the port city of Latakia on the Mediterranean coastline, but when the Syrian civil war began, he realized he had to get out of there. He traveled to Lebanon, to Turkey, and then, how about this for a story? He was forced at gunpoint to pilot a boat of fellow refugees for 2 hours across the sea to a Greek island. He'd never done anything like that before. Old people were on the boat, so were youngsters. He was terrified, but he got there, and then on the island he had a 20-kilometer walk. 17 days later, after an arduous journey involving bus rides and walking again, he arrived in Germany, and that's where he's been based for the last 7 years. So potting pool balls isn't pressure. What he went through that night, that's pressure.
Leading 1-0.
Yeah, an incredible story and an incredible run so far, and knocked them balls in with a lot of authority and an interesting safety to me from Ruiz there, almost like Albin to start, meaning he was just trying to get the two to the back rail and said, let me just get this guy long, and maybe having to play a safety instead of, like, I think if he was playing someone else, maybe he tries to play that subtle safety behind the 8. So I think Ruiz will be reminded quickly, and he's no fool. He's just got to play his normal game.
Yeah, I wonder what he was asking the referee mid-rattler. He was asking something.
Yeah, he's got a nice shot here to pull the cue ball 2 rails between the 6-8 up for the 9, up for the 3. He's just got to be a little careful with the speed. I don't think I banked this. Oh, he could cut it with a high ball. Really nice. The 4 to the 5 is not easy, though. He's going to have to fall kind of straight, Carl, to try and draw the cue ball.
Yeah, and if he lands short on it, he may have to play like a delayed draw in between the 9 and 6. He's got to get this one right.
Yeah, he just needs to not be too short. He can handle a little follow between the 6 and 9, but I think he's gotten perfect. Now he's got to decide, what do I want from the 5 to the 6? And the good thing is he decides it quickly. He's pretty amped up, a little much there, but the 6 isn't difficult. 6 is not tough. This is where he's got to rely on what he's been doing so well, and that's knocking balls in.
Yeah, it paid to be a lot shorter there, didn't it, than long. You know yourself, JJ, being involved in Mosconi Cup team. It's a different type of pool on this slick table, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the good thing for him is he doesn't involve a lot of side spin in his game. A little more of a stunner of the ball, drawing the ball, a little more power, and he's going to have to show something special here. I don't know if he can beat that top right corner pocket. Oh, well, he knew it.
Well, it's just a case of aim, pull the trigger, and the ball goes in the pocket.
Well, it's eerily similar to his counterpart in this match, meaning when they come down, they don't want to adjust. They don't want to think about it. They want to swing the cue. And how hard does he hit those into the side as well? Most guys would be like, let me open that pocket up with a little bit of a lighter speed.
He really is something else. In the last 32, he came through a hill. Same again in the last 16. He's nerveless almost. As for Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, well, he has been, over the last 12 months, the man in pool, even though he's not world champion. He's one match away still. Last year, he won the US Open, a massive event in Atlantic City that everyone craves. Jeremy Jones has won it. World Cup champion, partnering David Alcadi, representing Spain. That was a proud moment. And he also won the World 8-Ball Championship last year, so this would be a very notable double. But first, he's got to shake off Sufi.
Leading 2 racks to 0.
I think it was you and I that talked about it earlier. For any player to win, it's about putting a few together after a mistake from your opponent. And that's exactly what we've seen so far.
You can see he's worked on where to hold the cue. He's got this little routine pre-break. What he's trying to do there is get some consistency.
Yeah, we may have gotten a small roll here. I don't know if the jump shot's on with the 3 and the 6. Maybe he can get at a piece of the 1. I think he can. He hasn't always made the 1 in the side, but he seemed to make balls, period, overall, that being Soufi. I think you'll see Ruiz make the 1 in the side quite often. If he has to curve this, I don't know. It's not terrible, though, because the 2's hanging, and you'll certainly take a jump shot on the 2 if need be. Good camera view there. He can get at it. Anytime, though, you have like a 6-7 near each other like that, pretty important to play pretty good shape, because you may not want to be going into the 7, and you certainly don't want a heavy angle going away from the 7 when shooting the 6. So still work to get there, but I think that's going to be the real decider here for Ruiz in game 3.
Extension code.
Yeah, you can see the top corners are cut off, a little funny getting on the sides. He's got to work the cue ball to get above the 3 with the 4 a little in the way coming around. So this is grabbing Ruiz's attention quickly. Is he going to draw out of this? No, he's going to high ball. He's going to catch the 3. So he's going to get a little awkward for the side, but not too bad.
Doesn't matter the length of race, you always want to get on the board nice and quickly.
No heroics there, trying to overdo the spin. It was all just a case of leaving yourself a pot.
Yeah, he won't go simple here, I don't think. I think he'll get into the cue ball to get a little closer to the 5. It's kind of imperative. I want to be shooting that from a long ways. Sweetly struck. And that's the stroke you need to really have on the slick table. That kind of drag draw that where the draw doesn't quite come off the ball. I think since he hadn't got ideal, I'd probably still come above this 6 ball and not worry if I have to go into the 7. Well, he's going to play the other corner, so he had a little more angle than I thought.
Even that shot though, JJ, cue ball's finished lovely, hasn't it? You can easily overdo that or underdo it, and then you're starting to chase a funny pot. The fact the cue ball stopped there was just perfect for Ruiz.
Yeah, was that a little bit, if I don't like it, I can play a pretty handy safety. I mean, you're not really thinking like that as a top player, but you know, it's a little bit in the back of your mind.
That was class. World class, as you'd expect from the world number 1. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz taking full advantage of Mohammad Soufi's dry break. Syrians lead 2-1. What he's won in any season,
Trailing 2 racks to
all
1.
tournaments put together before.
There you see the disappearing 1 ball. Here comes the 2 ball. He's going to have a shot in the side. As long as he's got some form of an angle, it means you'll have something to work with to try and get on the next ball, which is the red 3.
Yeah, when nerves are high, the side pockets are the funniest shots for these guys. I think he's just, you know, I don't think he wants to elevate here and come behind the 3. It doesn't pass the 4 anyways, so I think he tries to shoot the gap between the 5-8. Could afford a little bump on the 5 as well.
Hardly seems relevant with these two, but there is a 30-second shot clock and 1 30-second extension allowed per player per rack. But it will not be a hindrance to either that, not at all.
Yeah, you'll see Ruiz take a little time prior to getting down on the ball, not a ton, but what looks like a ton compared to Soufi. And then Ruiz pulls the trigger pretty quick overall.
Good example there where he didn't try and do anything silly with the cue ball, just leave yourself long, leave yourself a pot. This looks to be good.
Yeah, really good. So both players playing exceptional to start. And you just hope the only real things we see alarming anyways, or maybe some dry breaks. We're going to have some misses, some ball in hands, you figure. It's a race to 13, but if we get anything like we have in here in the start, that's all you can ask for. Got a little thinner maybe than he wanted. I mean, it's not hard, but just make a little more of a decision with the cue ball. He's so good at that shot right there, the timing of it, not overdoing it.
Gets a lot out of the cue ball, doesn't he, from these big angles. He's able to just get that cue ball killed on the big angle. Doesn't really decelerate through the ball, so he ends up losing the cue ball or overpowering it.
Yeah, even though it was light, it seems like all the great players, they make a lot of similar swings. And Ruiz is off and running as well.
The old break and run out, which was such an integral part of his victory over Chang Junlin in the quarterfinals last night. Now it's FSR on a roll. He's certainly on a roll when it comes to the 9-ball rankings. Now this is before the tournament, so if he were to win here tonight, well, he would have a very substantial lead over Shane Van Boening. Now what about his opponent? Well, he's come from nowhere. If he were to win the championship, Mohammad Soufi would be all the way up to 6th place. Runner-up, he's going to be 13th guaranteed, and that means the top 14 are invited to the World Pool Masters in May, and so at the end of tonight, it's the cut-off point. He'll make his debut there. Another perk, and fully deserved.
That is fantastic news, Phil. Couldn't happen to a nicer
Track
guy.
5.
As you said earlier, he's been through a lot of tough
Sanchez
times.
Ruiz to break, 2 racks each.
And I think this is what the idea is, JJ. You do well in the matchroom events, other events, it carries weight. It's all going to go off ranking. This is why the new rankings are important.
Yeah, it's all in your own hands, and you're kind of betting on yourself, and no better place to be. Oh, the one got a nice little snip there on the 6, and I don't think it was going otherwise. Not the best break off, like the balls just didn't open as well as normal. A few kisses in there. But yeah, just think of, you know, Soufi, he's concentrating now on everything, of course, but given a few months and some confidence, even more time to train, financially in a better situation, we may see an even better Mohammad Soufi here come May. And He's not going to take a chance here. He's going to play safe with the cue ball. Oh, he's let the 2 slide a little bit. So this is going to be a little upsetting, giving up the jump shot.
Yeah, he won't be happy with that. You obviously try and control the object ball as well as the cue ball. If the 2 ball stays around the top rail, sort of in behind the 6, that's what he was trying. Things are more difficult, so let's see what Soufi's about with the jump cue. This is the first time I've actually commentated on one of his matches.
Oh, unlucky you, but this is a type of shot early. You know, the 9 a little further away. He's got to be careful not to overhit this a little. Easy to do so, especially in the finals. Oh, wow. He got the line he wanted on the cue ball. Is he going to get... I wasn't too worried about the speed. That's just a little unfortunate, but easy to actually overhit it and maybe, you know, chip the 2 and hop the cue ball off the table. But he hit it how he wanted. Got to be happy.
Yeah, he got the cue ball rolling forward quick, didn't he?
He's got a piece of this. Is he going to kiss this going by? He got by it, and he got to the 8. Pretty nifty little play, just to even keep him off the shot. And those, when you're catching a super thin piece of the ball, that's when speed control is, I feel anyways, the hardest. Now Ruiz has got a few little shots. He's such a straight shooter. He could edge this, but he would rather hit it full some kind of way and kind of move the 3, maybe bank the 3 and between the 5-7 kind of and kill the cue ball behind the 5-9. It's a little odd, huh, Carl?
Yeah, the cue ball just carried on rolling, didn't it, just to make things slightly different for Sanchez. It's amazing, just a few millimeters just changes the whole shot.
You know, if you felt like you could hit enough speed on it, the curve shot isn't that bad to bank the 3 up and drag the cue ball behind the 7. That's the shot I kind of felt like he was going to shoot.
I think he's left this, JJ. Well, maybe a jump shot.
Yeah. I think he's used his extension he has, so he's going to have to get on the move for him a little bit, which is kind of unheard of. Like this one here, the 6 is big, I think. Wow.
Mohammad Soufi with an absolute beauty. 2 out of 2 with a short stick.
Yeah, big shot here. I do think the pink plays. So one of the more difficult shots, especially for kind of a fast shooter having to roll the ball. I don't think I go too far with it.
Yeah, this is where technique is key. He hasn't got the greatest technique we've ever seen. Will it fall? No, it won't fall. It won't fall from the middle of the table.
When we see him power those 9 balls in, it tells you that's what he feels most comfortable with. So when he's rolling, he feels comparatively uncomfortable.
Yeah, and that's just a difficult shot for any player, and he didn't hit it poorly. It's just the type of shot and the type of angle, not much room for error, especially on that side of the pocket. And this was maybe overhit a little bit. No, I think he's okay.
Yeah, Mohammad will have known that ball has to go in the middle. You know, a lot of shots, you know, you can cheat and hit the rail and it'll still swallow the ball. From there, he knew he had to hit it in the centre. We was actually out just before this final, JJ, wasn't we? We had a cue and the ball's on the table and we were seeing from what point can we actually cheat the pocket, and we kind of knew that one wasn't one of the shots you could get away with. Is he a little straight?
Well, I think he got just enough to where it's a little angle. He can come inside the 8-ball 2 rails. Well, he's looking to maybe he got straighter than I think, to where he has to take a long shot on the 7. He's looking to see if I can draw on the straight line out beyond the 8 with a little low right spin. Watch him really turn the cue ball towards the 7 here. This is going to be a little, oh, the 8's going to help him.
He's riding a wave, is Sanchez. They can go wrong. You can hit the 8 on the wrong side, but everything seems to be turning out pretty. He's hitting the ball on the right side, leaving himself a shot. But but it was Mohammad who had the first chance. A little shy on the cue ball here, got a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, the one thing for Ruiz is, you know, he's obviously played a ton of great pool the last, you know, year and a half, but also he's had a few matches that were suspect, and when his opponent didn't want to take the match off, he went ahead and woke up, right, and came from nowhere. Saw that in the last round. Gotta make a bit of a long one here.
It would be a surprise if you were to miss it, though. He jaws very little.
Yeah, he rarely rolls them. He likes to draw this ball a lot of times, even though there's some angle.
3 ways of playing this shot, JJ, isn't there? You can sort of go bottom rail, 2 rails, high ball, or the Sanchez way. Draws it off 1 rail. Wonderful start, Phil.
Yeah, lost the first 2, but then the sparkling Spaniard wins the next 3. He's hit the front. Will he be there to stay, I wonder? Sanchez Ruiz leading Mohammad Soufi 3-2. Well, it was some spectacular jumping from Sufi early on in the rack, but ultimately they didn't pay off.
Yeah, this one was a little unfortunate. This was a tougher jump shot. Obviously, the 3 ball was a little further away, but the cue ball was tough. He'll be disappointed he's missed that ball. He was clearly playing for a 5-9 combo. Here you can see, just watch where it hits the rail. I'm sure people at home watching Nineball sometimes think, how's that ball gone in? But from that angle, he's never gonna drop. Cost him the rack.
Sanchez Ruiz to break, leading 3-2.
And although it's still early in the piece, you get the feeling this is a very big rack. The one thing you cannot afford to do is allow FSR to get on a sustained charge.
That's a better one, JJ, isn't it?
Yeah, and he repeats it so often. I just, as a spectator, not only watching the one, that's the one that, you know, we try to watch, but just watch how often the cue ball zigzags across in almost the same kind of alley each way. You know, it's pretty incredible. Almost like, probably like Shane, not as quite as much power, still impressive.
Yeah, he breaks good enough without a doubt. And if you're wondering what that template on the table was, if you're just tuning into pool for the very first time, which I'm sure you're not, that's to ensure all the balls are touching. It's what we call a magic rack. I'm sure if you're down your local pool room or your local pub and you get the triangle on, no more. We use what is called a magic rack. Very impressive little gadget that was invented.
It requires nifty removal by the referee, but Desislava Boshelova is well up to the task. I think there's every chance that she's going to officiate, well, here, a World Nineball final, and later on, whether this year or in the near future, a World Snooker final.
Yeah, he's got a lot of ways to play this safety. He can kind of shave the 2, come underneath the 9. He can hit it thicker, come underneath the 8. He could bank it away and kind of stun draw over behind the 8-4 or 8-5, excuse me. He's going to shave it, so he wants to protect this if he doesn't get underneath the 9. That's the goal. Well, he did. He wanted to make sure he didn't leave a jump shot, I think.
Yeah, he's just sizing up his options. If he does play some sort of jump shot, he's not going to use that cue. He's just seeing what's available.
Yeah, I think he can make it.
Oh, there's a piece, is there?
Yeah, this is a tough one to judge, though. You know, you're jumping over a ball that's fairly near and to an edge of the 2. So believe it or not, easy to overcut this. Wow, 3 for 3 on the jumps.
Look at the cue ball action there. Obviously not as exaggerated as Sanchez before. Take a look at the cue ball, the way it hops up. Wow.
Yeah. Hopped on right into the equator on the cue ball, actually below it, right?
Now you might get away with clipping the rail here. Yes, from that angle you can.
Especially with a little speed. If you hit it light, it tends to bounce a little more off that first rail, right?
But the practice table, I was having a chat with Alex Pagalayan yesterday. He was hitting balls. killing a bit of time. And I was watching him, and some of the balls that was staying up, you know, because it's a lot drier, the cloth's had a lot of play. That ball there in the practice room would not probably go.
Maybe even some of the outer tables as the event went on, the humidity a little bit more, and oof, a nice little roll there. I'm not saying it was a really good roll, it just was far from an unfortunate one.
The pattern's been worked out now. It should be level terms.
And it was a tricky safety just because of the jump cue. I like him taking that little extra right there. I feel like he's even getting faster, to be fair, which I'm not sure is a bad thing, but
No, I think he feels like running the balls out is very easy and natural, so he's got to keep the same thing that he does in practice, in tournaments.
3-3, the final we anticipated is currently being delivered. Great stuff from both.
a couple little nice position shots from there.
And now, of course, he has the break. Always an advantage.
Yeah, really the only, what you would call, if any kind of mistake, which I don't consider a mistake, just a dry break in game 3 to get FSR going. I guess he did miss the 4 ball. He's had this issue a couple times. We saw that against Wu. Now he's going to have to roll out to a kick. Don't think he can take on the kick from this angle. He probably doesn't get it back, but yeah, I don't like kicking at it from here. You maybe push out near the 9, something like that. Try and kick and come across it or something, Carl.
Yeah, if he was, obviously he was just looking at this, but if he's trying to go 2 rails, you would think if he clips the 2 on the way through, he's going to scratch. Is that what he's trying? 2 rails?
He's playing ball first, I think. Oh, 2 rails, you can't get in there. I mean, it'd be, you might get in there, but you're not going to control much. That's for sure. You may not even hit this. Oh, wow. How good of a hit was that? With a ton of spin, and I don't mind the gamble if he felt good about it.
Very dangerous shot.
Yeah, I wonder how close he came by the 2 there. Because if he kicks and rolls out to a better kick, he's not going to get it back, right?
Yeah, I think he was trying to keep the cue ball near that corner, in fairness, so it was a favourable roll.
And Ruiz is going to feel this. He's got to make a heck of a jump shot here because naturally I think this cue ball kind of wants to go towards this lower right corner. The 5 in the way as well. I don't think he can draw it enough to get into the 9, anything like that. Touchy shot.
Good effort.
Well, another opening.
Cue ball's the problem here for Sufi.
I think he's got a 3-rail path now that the 9's been moved around the 7. Oh, I would go. Is he not going to cut this in the side? I would go around the 7, 3 rails, I thought. He's going to come in 2 and try and play position between the 5-8. That's not going to get it there, I don't think, anyways. Yeah, if he was going to go there, he had to draw it a little more down the rail. So first positional error. I think he does have a look at it, though. Maybe not.
Cross bank, maybe?
Yeah, it's not sitting bad at all. Just play it high. It's just the type of angle to where it doesn't want to hang. If you play it to the high part of the pocket, you're either going to make it or it's going to double bank to the end rail. Only problem is if you make it, you're running the cue ball quite a ways away from the 5. Oh, he just went for it. But he is a really good striker. You can hear it when the tip hits the cue ball.
All the shots and the boldness to take them on.
Needs another good one here, though. And it's there. Sufi's on fire. A couple of good shots there to stay in this rack.
Yeah, really nice. Just got to make sure he doesn't overlook anything here. He's just playing the game.
This really is inspirational. You know, Mohammad Soufi, he's not got a great CV. You wonder why. I found out this afternoon when I spoke to him at length. He's been to 2 Euro Tour quarterfinals and 1 semi-final at the Lascaux Open in 2021. He practiced for those events for 1 day, and the reason, he couldn't afford to practice anymore. Couldn't afford the taxi fare to the club. Couldn't afford the money he had to pay for actually practicing. But he scrimped, he saved, and he's got enough money together now to practice for 30 days for this championship. 10 hours a day. 10. Practice doesn't make perfect. But here, it's made inspirational. What a story. It really is.
Phil, you've been around Q Sports longer than I've been alive.
Music, please.
This must be up there with one of your great
Mohammad
stories.
Soufi
It has to be.
Leading 4-3.
When I was chatting with him this afternoon, and I'm not being sanctimonious, I was genuinely emotional. This guy deserves everything that's coming his way, and I believe he's going to be in the Premier League pool, isn't he, Carl?
Yes, we've had confirmation of Emily Fraser. He will be invited to play at the Premier League pool in March.
That's the one that hurts. And I was just going to say, the feeling I get from Mohammad is, like all of us, he might miss, but I just never get the feeling like he dogged it. You know, it's just a missed ball here and there or whatever. You know, where you
Start the shot clock,
see
please.
and know some other players and how great they are. You can see when the pressure really gets to him, and I just don't feel that with him. And it has a lot to do maybe with his background. Not the worst 3-9 here, especially with the 7 having the 3 covered up. So may entertain an early one, Ruiz. Right? I mean, it's not easy to get on the 3 from the 2.
Yeah, and even if it's slightly offset, which it must be, because if it was dead on, I think you would see him attempt this. He just wants to make sure he gets as close and as straight as he possibly can on this 3.
Yeah, and he's got to play a nice shot. You know, he may roll the 1 in and bump the 8. That way he can draw up the side rail. Otherwise, getting the right angle on the 2 to get to the 3-9 could be a little funny. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That now he wanted to move it more. That was the problem. And he hit it solid, just a little light with the speed.
Or less.
Yeah. Less would have been okay, but that's always a feeling of danger, right? Now this has become very awkward.
Extension, please.
Yeah, I don't think he can really get a whole lot better on the ball by trying to attack and draw.
Can he not just soft draw off the 8?
Maybe, but it's not really going to... It might get a little closer, but the angle's going to still be fairly heavy. I mean, you could shave it ever so lightly, but if you're going to do that, you're not really moving the cue ball that far. This has become a little awkward. I do like his choice, though.
Yeah, surely you just leave it high and just shoot the combo now, don't you? I think the combo's always been his plan.
Is he banking this? Wow, that's been a little high. So with ball in hand, something you won't see very often.
That's a crazy decision. It has to be.
Yeah, we just kind of course, just like he plays most shots, he doesn't feel the miss coming. So wanted better precision on a 3-9, and Sufi an unfortunate scratch, but he can shake that off. And I'll tell you one thing, he's won some of these tactical battles today, many actually with Wu.
You just briefly seen from the previous camera angle, though.
Extension, please.
The 9 is a little lower than the 3 in the pocket if there's a line, so you want to be a little higher.
Yeah, that's why I say I probably take the distance from the head string maybe and play the 3-9 or safety even.
Didn't fancy the long combo. He's a good cue ball.
No, it's good.
Yeah, that's
very good. And he squeezed it up on the 8 and taken away the jump. He could have laid on the back rail, or the side rail rather, and just kind of playing a simple snooker. But he's going. He's attacking. Safety or offense. Now this is where Ruiz, like all the great players, just always seems to play the correct speed to increase his percentages to get a safety. I don't think it'll be real hard here. That's going to give up a shot. So we'll see what does he do here. A little low inside English around for the 3-9. Low right. 3 rails. That's got to slow down a little bit.
I think he's okay, JJ.
Yeah.
What a shot!
Like I said, I mean, again, not the greatest technique or something you would teach, but a very good ball striker. And ooh, wow, did he fluke it? It was running across. Oh, what a big shot in this match. And now he's left a long shot, but the 9-ball, who should have been maybe his friend a moment ago, has left a big pocket on the 3. And maybe a big moment.
Didn't foresee that.
Yeah, this level, that combination simply has to go. What's Ruiz got? What angle has he got?
Well, he may get a double kiss here. Yeah, I was about to say, it looked like he was loading up, going forward, and forward really is where you could have entertained a problem, in my opinion. Moving the 9, you could have hit the 9 again. I would have elevated there, and you don't want to do that from the end rail, but with a big pocket, I think that was the play.
Sufi's not really capitalising here. What's he done here? He might have been a little fortunate, but
I think so.
Should be nowhere near the 4-ball there.
Yeah, he should have come above it. He tried to play for the side instead of just playing a little more guaranteed above the 4. Big shot in this match early. He's got to cut this in. Similar to a 6-ball he played against Barkowski in the quarterfinals, was it?
He's used his extension, so he's only got 15 left. 15 seconds, not 15 extensions.
He's banking it.
Oh, this is not good. He's had a couple of good chances in this rack and he's sold out.
Yeah, it's the first scrappy, error-strewn rack of the match.
Yeah, the guys that played great. Rack 8 hasn't been their best. A scratch on the break, where Ruiz only got the 1-ball down.
I was with you, JJ. I thought he could have chopped that ball up the rail.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it was an awkward bank because there's no cover. And we did see him play some nice safeties against Wu. He could have chipped that 5 to the back rail and just drug him behind the 6 easily. Yeah. Guys are going to have some of these games, of course. That's 9-ball pool. But I said it earlier, I kind of feel like Sufi's playing even faster than we've seen already. But, you know, not to knock anything. That's fine. He's playing great.
He was, I thought, overly swift on the combination, though.
Oh, I agree. I agree. And that made it maybe even hit a little firmer than he likes. He likes to hit them firm. But.
And indirectly, it cost him because Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has pulled level once more. It was 2-2, 3-3, and now it is 4-4. FSR trying to join a very illustrious group of 10 players who've won the World 9-Ball Championship and the US Open. Shane Van Boning has done it. Joshua Filler, Carlo Biardo. Also, the likes of Darren Appleton, Mika Immonen, Alex Pagulayan, Ralph Suke, Earl Strickland, Johnny Archer, Efren Reyes. It's wonderful company to be in.
Rack 9. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz to break. 4 racks each.
Break's been a little hit and miss for both players. They've had success, they've had dry breaks. All in all, This is lining up to be fantastic finish to this world final.
Yeah, look at the cue ball again, just dragging. 2 balls near. So a great starter for Ruiz to try and grab back that lead.
That's the intention. Making the one in the side, staying at the table, hard to control the cue ball. And then it's a case of seeing what the table gives you. This time, he has been blessed with a nice split of the pool balls.
Oh, it's light, huh? Yeah, he's feeling it right now. I mean, that's a pretty, you know, by a foot or so miss mark at least with such an open center of the table. Nothing he can't handle, but really getting on the 4 proper to get on the 5, really the hardest part of the rack. So this is where how you hit the pocket
Extension,
really
please.
determines the speed on the cue ball.
That's why we wanted Mohammad to shoot the thin snip, because you can cheat the rail in the previous rack when he missed the bank.
Yeah, not only that, he's a straight shooter. I mean, normally great 9-ball players are pretty darn good bankers, but we've seen on the open shot, Sufi just, you know, bury him time and time again. And I wonder if he kind of felt a 2-way there with that bank in the last game. He kind of looked behind the 6 ball, but that speed, it's hard to do so. It's hard to really predict. Now, normally, if Ruiz is feeling good, he'll play the 2 rails and still gain the angle on the 7 that's proper. 1 rail's okay too, but he likes the 2 rail position. I think he uses 2 rails too, with just center stun, back and forth. Well, he played it light. Little surprising, but he held it. Killed the cue ball nicely, not letting it get to that side rail.
A second break and run out of the match so far from Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. And that means he re-establishes a lead, a slender lead at 5-4. Is the man called El Ferrari gearing up for a concerted push towards this title. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has just gone 5-4 ahead in the battle to win that trophy. These are the match stats. Pod success rate actually a little lower than you might anticipate at 93%. It sounds impressive. At this level of pool, it's not quite where you'd expect. All kinds of incidents though, and the one thing that struck me, the jumping ability of Mohammad Soufi. 3 brilliant jumps so far, and what a weapon to have, that.
Yeah, like you said, brilliant. Nothing easy about any of them. They got better and better as well. The first one was difficult. The second one a little more difficult, especially with the cue ball movement. And we saw the trick shot on the jump on the 2.
Yeah, we could do with the stat where it says bank shots, because Sufi missed that bank, didn't he?
Yeah, Sufi does tend to take a mid-match timeout, which of course is perfectly permissible. FSR remaining in the arena, he's quite happy, having fallen behind twice at 2-0 and 4-3. On each occasion, he's come back to lead.
Yeah, and besides, I think game 8 it was pretty quality from both guys so far.
So the life of FSR has just exploded with success over the last 18 months or so. And over the next 12 months, he's got so much to play in and so much to potentially exploit with wonderful tournaments coming up, like the Premier League Pool and the World Pool Masters in March and May respectively, where we will see Mohammad Soufi. Then it's the UK Open, World Cup of Pool in late June, European Open in Germany, Mohammad Soufi's adopted nation. That's in Fulda in August.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz to break, leading 5 racks to 4.
Jeremy, he'll want to nail this one.
Yeah, I was just thinking this is where he wants to get the break going and really kind of take the championship away from Soufi a little bit. Now, I think Soufi with opportunity, watch out, Nineball, with opportunity will respond. But Ruiz, for some reason, he gets on that run, like SVB you talked about. Funny with the 3 initials as well, but they seem to run some racks at the right times.
Yeah, Soufi wants to be a little bit careful in this match. As you said, things could start slipping away. Every little shot, you know, you just never know how many racks.
You got to be aggressive and come up on the 3-8 here, huh, Carl? Take the jump away. It's a pretty big target.
A little shy, isn't it?
Yeah, we may see another special jump shot of some sort. Maybe rail first. The kick's not bad. To the bottom rail, kind of followed the path the two ball took. Wouldn't shock me at all if he knocks this in. Now the key here is, you know, don't lose accuracy. You don't want to hit it too soft or anything like that, but you just don't want to blast it. Don't worry about luck. Think about a medium firm at most. I like it. I like it.
Oh, what a shot from Soufi! 2-rail kick to stay at the table.
Man, just couldn't have scripted it any better with that kick shot, right?
Settle down, please.
Okay, he's going to have to keep coming with him. The cue ball's off the rail, so he can dig on the cue ball if he desires. I don't think he does anything with the 9. He doesn't have to dig on it much, though.
It was quite a high tariff shot, but he's been potting so dependably. When he misses one, it is a shock to the system, and he didn't get away with it. The pink 4-ball remains in the Open.
Yeah, and he didn't look at shooting it up into the other corner. That would have made a bigger pocket. Obviously, we didn't really get a chance to see exactly what angle he had and where the 5 would go, but he plays that quick.
No, I agree. The upper right is where I anticipated him to go. Even if he had to take a bit more of a shot on the 5, that was an awkward shot on the 4.
And 4 has been Soufi's bogey ball. You might recall the 5th rack, when with the cue ball under the side cushion, he had to slowly roll the 4 and missed it.
Yeah, and he's played so well. Again, I don't look at that as far as like, you know, nerves or anything like that. Maybe a little bit, but what you got to fear is, of course, what we saw when you do make mistakes. These great players really sit you down. That hasn't happened yet, and it's a very possible thing right here in the middle of the match.
Is that ominous? For the first time, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has a 2-rack cushion. It is 6-4. All about the miss, really, gents.
Yeah, and 6 out of 7 for Ruiz. Was he trailing 3-0. Just no, excuse me. He caught the lead at 3-2. He was down 2-0.
Now this was something special on the 2-ball.
Yeah, very good. Hit it perfectly, and then made one heck of a shot on the 3. I was with Carl. I kind of like the upper right corner. Just your room for error is a little greater. Now, can't question him on his own decision because he's been knocking the balls in. You know, it seems like now for several days, and he has. First, like, worried look I've seen, really.
Yeah, he knows he's had a couple of chances. He's missed the bank on the 5. He's missed that 4-ball. That's 2 racks gone. And it's 2 racks onto the side of the Spaniard. And he's dialing down with this break. Is he going to get a look at the 2? No, he isn't.
And the other thing is, you know, what does Sufi do with his break if he gets some of those balls
Push
down?
out, coach.
You know, he's put some racks together in all these matches. So now he'll get back to the table. This is where FSR, as great as he is, rolling out to an awkward kick is about as good as he has, excuse me. If he rolls out here, I don't think he gets it back. I think Sufi will take that. Or I think he should. And he rolled out plenty to where he can kind of spin into this kick shot. I mean, there are not a lot of places to roll out to regardless here, but I don't know if he rolls out against, you know, what he feels like a top player in this position, or maybe a very good tactical player in this position. He certainly wouldn't get it back if I was at the table. And this is a big surprise here, Carl. Thought Sufi would take this kick on. Kicking the 2 between the 6-9, not that difficult. And you could even roll it, really, to get up behind the 9 if you felt real comfortable about it and you know the shot, which Ruiz certainly does. I think it's going to be a kick and stick. He's got a little help with the 7 as well, just in case the cue ball gets away. Yeah, really hard to believe the cast on.
It was a kick, a stick, and look at this off the 6-ball. A flick, but it made no difference.
Yeah, he would have really fancied that shot. The shot was really in his favour. Is this match starting to just drift away? We said he's got to be careful. Sanchez will start to skip around the table.
Extension, please.
Yeah, and that's just experience he'll gain. We all have done it. Looked at a shot for one reason or another. We didn't like it, even though we probably should have taken it on. Okay, he's going to hope the 4 gets tied up some kind of way. It may.
Bow in hand.
It's better going there, isn't it, than where it was.
Start the clock, please.
Yeah, and I think the 3 was maybe a hair in the way of the 2-rail kick, so he had to take on a pretty tough one going 1 rail with the cue ball near the rail.
Extension code.
So he's going to come for a heavy angle on the 3 to try and come some 4 rails off the 3 for some kind of cut or bank on the pink 4. I like the plan. Go the right side rail, stay underneath the 3 a little bit, Carl.
Yeah, I agree, JJ.
He's looking now to get above it. That looks pretty dicey to me. I like his original plan. Coming over here, just kind of staying. Is he going to break this out?
No, he feels if he can get just over towards the side, just after the side, he can cut this ball in. So, I mean, that's okay.
No, if it's there, that's great. Just a little fooler. To me, speed's important, but can't win all these championships without great speed control, and he got the premium out of this. A little bit off the rail, even further down the rail, which is certainly going to make the 4 playable.
You expect good speed from a man nicknamed El Ferrari.
See,
Oh, but he's missed.
Yeah, well, just, I mean, I don't want to be a hindsight person, that's for sure, but it looked like it was not the easiest thing to get in there at the 4 from that side. He could have easily got underneath the 6-7, taken on a thin cut or a cross bank.
Yeah, the camera deceived us, really. It looked perfect. I mean, it probably was perfect, but maybe the shot itself wasn't easy. Sufi's got to be careful here.
Yeah, sometimes on those shots you kind of push the cue ball when you're FSR or a player like that instead of kind of swinging through, and the throw just doesn't work like you anticipate. You know, you don't really accelerate as much because you're worried about getting in there at a real subtle speed.
Sufi's a little shy, yeah. I know he's getting down quick, but he's okay.
Yeah, I don't really think it's been, you know, the misses are one thing. I think a few of the decisions have really maybe caused a couple of the misses. I don't get the feeling of dogging it from the kid. And we need to learn a better word, or 2 words, because dogging it always sounds so harsh.
Nothing harsh about that for Mohammad Soufi. Just when it looked as though Francisco Sanchez Ruiz was building a head of steam, momentum might be dissipated by that missed 4 ball. It is 6-5. Soufi back with momentum of his own. Maybe he was just a little spooked by the near proximity of that 6 ball, because he did undercut the 4. It was clearly a tight squeeze.
Yeah, if you saw that replay, Ruiz is someone that really carries the cue stick through the cue ball pretty much all shots, and some have different degrees of length through the cue ball than others, but cue stick kind of stopped at the cue ball there.
Yeah, so it's Sanchez who throws the rack away. Soufi's thrown a couple away. But all in all, it's been a good match so far. Good contest, no runaway leader. 6-5, Sanchez, Soufi to break.
And I think this is the part of the game that really has to be good for Soufi to take this title down. He's got to put a few racks together, because Ruiz is human, even though he's kind of seems like, oh wow, that's unfortunate.
Foul shot.
Even though he's kind of shown us otherwise
Ball in
over the
hand.
last 18 months or something like that.
Start the shot clock,
Scratch
please.
off a couple of balls. At least, though, the 8 and 5 have gone really close together, awkwardly.
Yeah, he's got ball in hand, though, and he's such a great player. I think he can fall a little underneath the 4. We'll get another look here in a moment to where he can swing the cue ball by the 7 to the bottom rail and open the 4-8. I think that's there, huh, Carl? Wow, look at this. Why wouldn't he just follow forward, follow underneath the 4, go to the left side rail, to the bottom rail, and then into the 5-8? Isn't that the play?
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. He's probably only just having a look, but he was just looking to play the 2 off the 9, I believe, to knock the 5 out.
Yeah.
Maybe on a Friday night exhibition.
Yeah. Like you said, some of those English 8-ball
Extension,
parties
please.
y'all have. Yeah, he's really a good thinker, which I think is a big credit. Good thinker under pressure. We've seen it many times. I think at times during the World Cup, he kind of made some big decisions for Team Spain on to that win, even with such the brain that Al-Kaidi has, and we know that's one of the best. Yeah, I like shooting the 2 in the upper right corner. Wow. Wow. But
He's
now,
really playing this off the edge of the 9.
from so far away, too. It's one thing to be close to it. Oh, he fluked that. Double kiss. The 9 might get in the way, though. Nineball pool's the most amazing game on the planet, I'll tell you.
Well, you know, as a former player, I'm glad that has hooked him. I really am, because this is just, he's not hit it great. And look at the flick. I mean, to win the rack off that would have been disgraceful.
Yeah, and, you know, I don't want to call it bad, but that's a little below his level. You know, a little amateur, right? A little bit.
Look at the selective thinking, though. He wasn't thinking about the fluke. He was thinking about the fact he's been hooked.
Yeah, he's very good at kicking at that ball and bringing the cue ball backwards subtly. But those kind of things, you almost motivate Soufi to do something special. Like that, to me, definitely a sign of nerves.
The thing is with Sanchez, you know, maybe he's just absolutely flying inside. So maybe he just feels so good. So he just sees a shot and he thinks, well, it's not that difficult. And I know what you mean. It doesn't look to be the right shot, but maybe he's just on that vibe of everything's just easy.
Well, if the 2 is half the distance away from the 9, I can almost, you know, live with it myself. But that 2 ball was by the head string. And that shot that Soufi just shot, it's the most commonly under-hit safety there is. You're always worried about him coming up, and it's really the under-hit that always gets you. He's got to go with the long rail kick here. He's got a lot of positive things that can happen.
You won it. No extension.
Sanchez has been very good at that type of shot. I know there was no pressure on the object ball, but you still get a good cue ball. Is there no value in a jump bang? No?
There is, of course. There's value both ways. This is like medium. The cue ball should continue downward, and maybe the 8 and 5 could knock it in. But the way he's jumped the ball, maybe the best shot is what you're saying, Carl. He's just hitting right past the side. Oh, he hit it perfect. Oof.
Good shot, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got it safe. There's always that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, and he's playing the pro speed there. He's not just like hitting at the ball hoping, right? There was a lot of intent, not only to try and maybe make it, but make Ruiz earn it. Now he's got to worry about the jump if he decides to clip the ball a little bit. Oh, light. Big time light. And that's a decel.
Does the 4 go?
Well, if it goes, he's shooting. It's got to be a small portion of the pocket for him not to shoot. Whew.
Do you shoot this?
Well, he just went and looked again. Well, I'm telling you, if I was in his corner, would you tell him no? If he wanted to shoot at it? Carl?
Well,
Phil?
okay, let's have it.
Well, in rack 10, the overcut,
Extension code.
a 4 ball to this pocket, which wasn't as high tariff as this.
That was strange. He asked Desi if he had an extension, and she said, well, you kind of used it. What does that mean?
Yeah, I didn't think he had. Oh, he's elevating.
You got to settle down here, Soufi. Settle down.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's kicked nice, right? Again, in the last match, we saw some good tactical play against a very good tactical player. Didn't hit it poorly, though. That looked like he just flat overcut it. He just barely shaved the 6.
Yeah, that was a good camera angle. That just shows you a lot of the times the table can make you look silly, but then when you have a look back, especially on these slow-mos, that was close.
Yeah, so the good thing mentally, he won't feel as bad again. Maybe a little light.
Nice kick shot, though, here for Soufi.
I think he can see it.
Oh, really?
Maybe not. Okay, he's kicking it. He's going to try and kick and stick using the 6 or coming back behind the 9. He hit it too thick, got behind it too much, and this is going to surrender a really easy starter.
Yeah, that is a bad shot. I feel like it'd have been better trying to come back towards the 9 in that instance.
Well, those shots there, you know, you practice them, right? But you don't practice them from everywhere. So you got to go look really what's the angle to come in at. You know what you want to do, but feeding the brain a little information never hurts. Okay, he can come 2 rails here around the 8, which he likes to do, or 1 rail is real simple. The good thing about the 1 rail, really not too bad of angles, just don't get too thin.
Just a little more ponderous. The situation is sinking in. The freedom of running around the table might be a little compromised from here on in.
there's all kinds of mental things going on for both players, of course, but FSR, of course, the World Pool Championship final, make any of us, you know, get our blood flowing. But it's really odd, you know, as great as Soufi's played throughout the event, to still, you know, have that feeling of being a big favorite in such a huge moment. The pressure's definitely on him.
Will Spain have their first world 9-ball champion? Well, right now, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is just a little more than halfway to lifting the trophy.
I think he got a triple combination here, possibly, that's not very missable. That's rare. Did the 8 come over in the way? I think it did.
Yeah, I think he's good here, JJ. Obviously, he's got to control the 2 or the 8 or something. Leave him some kind of shot, but at least he can keep the cue ball down here as well. May play it with a bit of left.
Yeah, the only thing that could really have a problem is if the 8 gets in the way somehow off the 5 like this. That's the only thing that, and the only reason that was a problem is because he had to hit it somewhat light enough to not go by the 9. So we'll see what kind of kick shot he comes up with here. He usually figures it out. Yeah, and he could have hit it so full, the 2. I may have considered putting more speed and drawing to the side rail underneath the 9 to make the 8 escape. It's a shot you got to think about the 8 coming in the way, and it's not going to happen very often. But you know how it is in these big finals. We seem to see it all. He caught the 8, and what a moment in this match. If you're Sufi, after 12 games, trailing 7-5, and now with ball in hand, you'd love it. So if he can get out here.
Just grazed the 8 ball there, you could see. Soufi ball in hand. I'm all for Soufi playing his game and playing quick, but experience, I don't know, maybe the older man in me now, you feel like saying, just slow down a little bit. Don't do anything silly.
Yeah, and I really think it's been a couple just when he got down to pull the trigger. You know, he doesn't take a long time down, of course. So he's quick anyways, right? You can't get a whole lot quicker from there, really, as kind of what Phil was alluding to also, like on that 3-9.
Yeah, I forgot about the 3-9. That was also a big moment. He's had chances in this final. He could have been in front by a few racks, but he's still there, and it's like this position here. Yeah, the cue ball's just come okay, but everything just seems a little on the scary side.
Well, he started off playing snooker at 9 years old. That's why, of course, the snooker tables being a little taller, I believe, as a whole, especially back then. That's why we see the sidearm. That was a nice play. So the crutch, not a problem. Boy, he doesn't slow roll them,
He doesn't slow roll them 9s. They're scary when you're thumping in at that pace.
Lightning in a bottle, and he's got plenty of bottle. That was a terrific run out in at precisely the right time. The match, not for the first time, was in danger of getting away from him, but try as he might, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz cannot fully assert his authority.
Yeah, that shot there, it looked like to me it was so much of a hanger. I may have thought about drawing it that way, I get a little more speed and separate that 8 from the 2 ball. Because the shot he fouled on, any of us could have fouled on that, trying to swerve subtly around the 8.
Just laughing at Soufi's 9 ball there. Not only did he slam it in, he just like stun draw it up the table as well. It's like complete madness.
Trailing by 6 racks to 7.
Yeah, I don't think he's read the textbook.
Yeah, I wonder how I'd feel with that kind of energy in my body. Wow, it'd be something sweet.
Can he get this break going? It's been a bit of a struggle so far. Not quite happened for Soufi.
The cue ball's been the real problem. He's going to get a look at the bottom of the 2. I don't think it's offensive. I think he can get to the bottom of the cue ball enough to just bang the 2 away and hold behind the 4-9. Keep it simple here. He certainly can get to that bottom of the cue ball. Just can he get to the 2 enough to just hold the ball? Oh yeah, and he squeezed it up on the 4-9. And the 4-9 that may go by the 8. You know, we're like you like to say, Carl, we're getting to the business end of this World Championship in this final, but we knew it was possible, but this Soufi has a real chance to win the world title.
He does, and you know, good luck to Sanchez. He's having a great year, but I think we all know the significance of Mohammad Soufi winning this World Nineball Championships. It's almost Wu Cha-Ching-esque, isn't it, Phil?
Yes, he was 16 when he won, and he completed the 9 and 8 ball double in the same year at the age of 16. This would be equally eye-popping.
Nice speed there. May have made it. And like I said, I don't know if the 4-9 plays easily. The open table is there, but it does require some nice position. And then, you know, Phil, you're a sports guy. I think we all are. What are we looking at as far as possibilities of something we really hadn't seen too often in sports? Leicester, is it the soccer club that won a few years ago?
5,000 to 1 they won the Premier League. But I think in many respects, given his life story and the adversity he's faced and overcome, this would be even more remarkable.
Yeah, just unique in its own, right?
Yeah, for me, it's not even close. I mean, them footballers are all millionaires living the life of Riley. This man, I mean, to me, this is just incredible. You know, you need a little bit of luck to win these pool tournaments, but this isn't like winning it 5-6 years ago when it was in Qatar, Doha, and nobody watching. This is on the world stage now. This is the big time. Especially with a more difficult format and rules, you really got to earn it. Hard to sit your opponent down. Oh, he's made a mistake here, overdrawn the ball. So he's going to have to roll forward and try and find an angle he likes from distance to shoot the 7. I think just maybe about a foot ahead with the cue ball, something like that. I don't think he's going to end up on the rail with the cue ball, or he shouldn't. Can he? Oh, he could cheat it. No, he's okay. He's just got to play a nice shot here. And this is, again, how you hit the pocket really will determine the speed on the cue ball. Big shot coming up.
It's got to go a little bit.
Shy.
Got to go.
Shy, JJ. It is shy.
Yeah, it kind of stunned it more than got the run out of the cue ball. Tried to power it, and I bet he caught the 7 a little thick to the pocket. I like the cross corner kick, trying to kick it in. I like going to the side rail here versus the bottom rail. I think now's the time to just keep attacking. He's going to go here.
He could go back rail, left side of the 8 to bank it in the left center, cue ball into the 9.
Yeah, he's got a few options. I really like the cross corner, though, myself.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, it's just the type of shot as a pool player you get a real good feel. Oh, how good is this? He's going to make him earn it. What a shot here from Soufi.
Trying to bide himself some time there, Phil, with a kick to the top rail.
And this is a guy who has had a injured hand, injured leg in recent years, and he's played through the pain barrier. Found it difficult to practice because the hand was so painful at one point. Everything's been against him, and yet he's kept bouncing back.
He's playing the soft safety, so he's gonna see how experienced Soufi is on the bare ball table.
Got to play safe here, right?
Dragging him behind the 9, or would you chop the 8 and go 2? I like dragging him behind the 9 myself. I get a better feel for it when the 8's that high. Now, if the 8 wasn't so close to the rail, I feel better about chopping. He may shoot. Hello.
Needs the cue ball to keep going. It needs to keep going. It's there. Sufi with a bank. His club on the 9. He gives the crowd a little wink and a smile. Why not? This match is 7-7.
He's got immense character, and he is an immense character. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz knows he's now in the fight of his life. What a shot on the 8. What a shot. All square.
Yeah,
here's another look, JJ.
Yeah, it started with a beautiful kick on the 8 to keep him in the rack, and then he went back to his aggression, and it's paid off to tie this match.
The crowd loving this. The world over, they warm sports fans to an underdog, and in many respects, he is the ultimate underdog.
I couldn't agree more, Phil. And I'll tell you, this is where the break needs to show up for him with some offensive shots. Maybe he gets the separation.
Mohammad Soufi to break. 7 racks each.
Yeah, I'd like to just see him try and do a little bit better on the cue ball.
Yeah, when he was breaking his best, the cue ball was coming into the 9 pretty solid. He got a lot of action, a couple golden breaks. This set, it's been a little low every time and entertaining some scratches on those bottom corners. See, he gets that right spin on the ball. That's why instead of straight draw, look at the 2-8 tie up maybe. Did the 1 go down in the corner? I don't think so. If it didn't, FSR isn't got the best reward for ball in hand.
Yeah, I also think if he shortened the bridge a little, that might make a big difference.
Yeah.
That's the 3rd time he scratched on the break.
Well, if you put outside spin on that break and you don't catch a ball coming across, the second rail, you're always spinning downward towards the bottom cushion and those bottom corner pockets. Yeah, I like this here. He's going to try and attack and get these open off the right side rail. Now, the thing is, he's got to set up fairly thick on the 1, and he's got to put a little more speed into this. He can't kind of just roll off an edge. Don't come underneath this. That's where you could have a problem if you come underneath it. Like, oh, he caught the 8, but if he catches the 2 first, could have an issue. But you got to gamble in professional 9-ball pool.
Yeah, the crowd liked that one.
FSR understands the dynamic. Yes, he's won so much recently, but still fresh in his mind is when he was the underdog.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a breakout win that gets anybody's career really started, especially in 9-ball pool. I mean, a lot of sports, you know, top 10s and whatnot are very looked after, right? But 9-ball pool first is huge, especially in the world title. Well, you've been there, you know what I mean? Final in the U.S. Open, right? It's a lot different than other sports. Okay, make a little decision here on the 8. Very concerned look there from the Spaniard. Well, he can't use the 3rd rail. I don't think he's gonna, so it's all about speed. Well, he can use the 3rd rail, I guess. I thought that may put him in a position to go by the 8 a little bit.
Yeah, go a little low. He could still play for the center of the table, no?
Yeah, which I always like under pressure, just because you're guaranteeing the shot. Now, he got that to tighten up pretty nicely from that angle. Always nervy near the rail with the cue ball. Through the years, we've seen some big missed balls
Extension code.
that to the average fan look routine, but anytime you're cueing near the rail, nothing's ever easy.
And before his golden period, he was prone to moving on the shot. But having a few dollars, a few quid in the bank frees up the cue arm, doesn't it? For the third time, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz goes ahead. He's hoping against hope. It will be the only time he needs to hit the front, and now he stays there. Can't believe that. Braver than me. I've got about 15 layers on. There's the trophy to the ultimate champion. 8-7 to Francisco Sanchez Ruiz at the moment. Remember, it is a race to 13. So, gentlemen, pick the bones out of these stats.
Yeah, you can see 5 missed pots, pretty equal in percentages on pot success. Balls pocketed very close. I mean, really miles apart in rankings, but incredibly close here on these stats. The only one different, maybe the break and runs.
Yeah, we could do with maybe like poor decisions column.
Yeah, right.
I mean, obviously, our opinion, I suppose.
Yeah, I think both guys would tell you the same, though. They could have maybe looked at a few things differently, and really for Sufi, it wasn't really that bad overall. Just a couple shots. I was a little surprised more with Ruiz with some of the decisions, to be fair.
Undoubtedly, what's been costly for Mohammad Soufi, scratched on the break 3 times. His break-off hasn't been effective. Mind you, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, his break hasn't been as effective as it is normally, and certainly not how it was last night. He was brilliant in that department against Chang Jung-Lin.
Yeah, and like Shane or several handful of players, you almost feel like his break's going to show up during every match he plays. Still have the ladder third to play here, and he's at the table on the breaking end.
Yeah, you just think that Sanchez is definitely breaking better. That doesn't mean he's going to get a shot on the ball.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz to break, leading 8-7.
He really hasn't threatened the pocket with the cue ball much. Been pretty tidy there. I think he had 1 dry break early. And here's another. Here's another. As soon as I open that trap, another dry break. But you could tell the connection wasn't there. Again, we hear that kind of clatter around the spot, a bunch of balls hitting and not a ton of movement.
Yeah, and you could tell the cue ball come off the side rail and it come high of the 9.
Oof. And I think that Ruiz, he doesn't take long over the ball, but to me, he pulled the trigger quicker than I'm used to on the break shot. He's got to come above the 8 here and take a little medicine on the 3 to the 4, I think. Take his medicine. Can't take no chance. Can't try to thread the needle here. Even if he has to track the cue ball around for the 4 all the way down in the same pocket. I mean, he could have tried to go into the 9, but I think that was dangerous there.
Yeah, the 4 looks like it's touching the rail.
Yeah, but he's a shot maker. We know that's his game. That's what he needs and wants to do to win this event.
These cue balls keep going here.
Yeah, you hit that ball a little thick to the pocket. That's why kind of when you shoot a little quick, you're not taking as much dead aim on the ball. All right, is he going to really just smoke this in, or is he going to come 1 rail towards the balls? He could jam it in 2 rails. The ball wants to kind of come off the rail when you hit it at that speed.
Don't like it.
Yeah, this has just got to be hit pure. A lot of times low right English actually keeps the ball down the rail a little better, like drawn towards the 5-7. A little more pure rather than trying to stun twice back and forth. Oh, wow, how'd he hit it? How'd he hit it?
was a fantastic shot. He's got the shots. Maybe he's a little loose with the cue ball, but this is the game he brings. This is why the crowd are enjoying watching him.
Yeah, this is going to get awkward again. He needs to take just a hair of time to go look at the 6 to the pocket. I love it right there. Exactly what he needs, at least in my opinion. And it's not so much, you know, going to look at the 6 behind the hole. It's that little time that took from him getting down on the ball a little extra fast.
I thought he would have come down the other rail there.
Yeah, most would, instead of coming across the line. Big shot. It's just not quite hitting the pocket in the middle, so the cue ball is a little off. Oh, wow. 8-8.
Stretching at the max for that 9 ball. But with him, it's maximum entertainment. He's not conventional, but boy, can he knock them in. 8 racks each. The dry break from Francisco Sanchez Ruiz was his last contribution in the 16th. This final, you wondered, was it going to be one match too many for Mohammad Soufi? Definitely not. So many great shots in this rack.
Yeah, that 4 ball was one of the best. It was a cracker. Whenever it's touching the rail, you see how it just comes off? That's what you need to happen on a pool table. You need to just get it away from the rail. And this 9 wasn't easy. All in all, what a wonderful effort. What a wonderful rack to tie the match up, JJ.
Yeah, the 4 down the rail is one thing, but to put enough speed to come back and forth for the 5, maybe the shot of the match so far, especially in such a crucial
Rack
moment.
17, Mohammad Soufi to break. 8 racks each.
Started out as best of 25, now it's best of 9.
Yeah, nobody's running off and hiding, but who can get a little separation late and really apply the pressure?
Now, is he going to keep doing what he's been doing on the break? Is he going to slightly tweak something, or is he just going to keep doing this? Cue ball's flirting with the bottom 2 pockets time and time again. Not again, surely.
Well, at least he got into the 9 that time. That's more of what he's been doing throughout the event. Much of his scratches have been spinning 2 rails across. Ooh, he got a solid hit on that 9 ball there, and you wonder if a golden break is going to come into play here in the 2023 World Championship final. And I don't know if he can get to the right side of this one. If he can't, he's got to play a pretty tricky shot. Yeah, he can. So, I mean, normally FSR is looking to attack here. I wonder if he plays a little more of the overcut on the 1. Maybe he flukes in and off the 9, trying to play some safety behind the 4-5. I think he's supposed to shoot. This is what wins for him as well.
Yeah, he's going for the pocket. There's no doubt about it. It was a chance. It wasn't an easy chance.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, position is there with the 2 hanging. So Soufi gets to lean on his strength, which is knocking balls in.
This is also another good chance. He's not had the lead for a little while in this match. He's been hanging on in. The finishes have been a little bit heart in the mouth, let's say. The cue ball's not been on a string. This is his style of play. He needs a good shot here, though.
Extension code.
Yeah, more time than he's taken on any shot. Medium speed is the ticket. Not too light, not too hard.
Into the rail, JJ. Big pocket, this. Always seems easy when we're watching, but behind it, it seems scary. Oh, it's gone in clean.
That was pure. Now he's got to kind of slowly come off the 2. That way the cue ball doesn't kind of hug and lose the line. Oh, that was really nice. And I wonder, because we saw it in the last rack on a couple shots, we saw him take more time there. I wonder, see, that's what I was talking about, it losing its line. I wonder if he's going to start to take that hair of extra time here coming down the end.
Another test here. Oh, Soufi overcooked it.
Yeah. And I
Get
think,
away we want.
I don't know. I would have considered forward right there. Just, you know, anytime the ball's frozen, right? It wants to come off the rail like the 4 we talked about last. It's a very difficult play, and I think he may have gone forward and taken a long shot on the 4.
It might look borderline, but there is a passage through. That was the worst shot I think we've seen Soufi play on this table.
And FSR glad that that ball got straight in because he's close to the 4. And when you're close to the ball, you get a little angle, it can get a little distorted aiming.
There's been 3 or 4 racks in this final where Soufi's had a chance. I know it's close and we're thinking it's been a good final, but you know, if we're going to assess this correctly, he could have been in a pretty healthy lead, Soufi.
Yeah, both players started off great. They had a little bit of a mess in the middle. And it seems like they're picking it back up, but again, that ball, frozen ball, trying to come back off a frozen ball when you have distance. Now, if you're close to it, you don't have to strike it as hard. You can be very accurate, but it's a shot that you have to consider maybe sacrificing the cue ball a little bit. Especially when you're such a good shot maker, right? But that's what gets you. You think you can make anything on the 3 as well. Looking a little to the pool gods, a little to the shot clock. FSR is in a battle. All ball fouls. So leaning over the 9, he'll be very careful.
That exchange was routine, but he's taking every precaution, and who can possibly blame him?
And FSR will pull the trigger quick on some 9s as well, so we'll see if he takes a couple extra pre-strokes here, maybe. Nice.
For the 4th time, Sanchez Ruiz goes in front. We keep expecting at some point for the hammer to be put down. It's not happened yet. He's had a wonderful championship, he really has. Started off with a 9-0 whitewash of So Shaw, then he beat Wu Kunlin, who went on, of course, to contest the semi-finals. Oscar Dominguez went next. The US Mosconi Cup player was beaten 11-3. Former world champion Torsten Homan was put to the sword in the last 32. Dennis Grabber, fine player from Estonia, beaten 11-8 in the last 16. Then I think one of the quality performances of the entire championship, he beat Chang Junglin 11-4 from 3-0 down. And then Mario He.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz to break, leading 9-8.
Winning 11-8 from 7-2 at his worst. 7-2 down.
Oh, he really threatened a scratch there. He hit the 1 a bit thinner than he normally does. Ended up with a great shot on the 2. Is he going into the 9 here, or can he avoid it? He caught the 1 a lot thinner than he normally does there. Maybe got away with 1. A little awkward here on the 2.
Yeah, especially if he's clipping into the 9, but you know, at one point after the break, I think he would have felt the cue ball was going to go in the pocket, so at least he's at the table.
I'll tell you, if he's comfortable pocketing the ball, he can hit it with a high right, go into the 9 fairly full, possibly fluke the 9, and still end up with somewhat of a shot on the 3. I don't like hitting this one light, I don't think. Not super light. I hate to edge the 9, right, and come back on the 8, or maybe the 9 stays in play. I think he spins this in with a heavy right English, somewhat heavy. Oh, he did hit it light. He's going to go by the ball now, I think. Oh, what a touch. What a touch.
Under pressure, playing shots like that, delicately, they're the toughest.
Absolutely. Short game in golf. Similar. Yeah, the great players, they like staying away from extremes, not too light with the swings and not too heavy. I want to stay hovering around that medium stroke. It's been up a couple games twice, I believe. Is that right? 7-5 and
7-5 indeed.
Little movement there. Didn't quite get where he wanted. Well, maybe he did. The 2 rails into the side is fine. And this is where understanding the 7 is so playable. Now, does the 8 pass the 9? That's a big question mark. Doesn't want to be dead straight here.
We've been talking about cheating the pockets, but that's the corner pockets. You don't want to cheat these middles.
He's got a little angle, so he can get up above the 7, so that takes care of the problem if the 8 doesn't pass the 9.
Extension code.
Yeah, he's more than okay here.
And he's really good at this. I know it seems kind of routine, but you wouldn't believe how often you can miss the speed on these shots. Very confident with the side pocket. Just drag this in maybe. You could even stun a hair, but kind of drag it in and go forward an inch or 2. Maybe a hair of left English.
Sweetest contact on the pack when he broke, but he knocked in a ball, had one available, and went from there. 10-8. He needs 3 more.
Yeah, well, it's like so many players and matches, and when you have wins, your break shot really gets you going, right? And it hasn't been there for either player as a whole. Now showing up for Ruiz, though.
Yeah, the 3 ball stops for a dead straight combo, it looks like, as well. So the mistakes of Soufi in this match, as it's starting to tell now, because the game is changing.
When Joshua Filler defeated Francisco Sanchez Ruiz in the UK Open final last year, towards the end of the match, Filler broke and ran repeatedly. Brilliant stuff. FSR would love to do the same here.
Yeah, and I don't think he minds the 3-8. It's just a little odd getting there. He's got to check it with inside, which gives him an angle on the combo. Or he's got to hit a real nice shot if he uses a little left spin to come a couple rails between the 4-9. So even though very playable, definitely no walk in the park here. I like this one. I think you have to take on the little cut, and he got the premium, just barely going by the 9. I say he could get a little bit of an awkward angle on the 3, right? Great shot, though. That stroke, that drag draw, not going to the rail with the cue ball, such an important stroke in our game these days. Much more important than back in the day with the older felt and the heavier balls. Maybe not heavier balls, let's not say it's quality of balls.
Taking his extension, and that's because he identifies the shot as the key that could unlock the rack.
Yeah, the middle diamond here would be ideal, meaning as far as don't try to overdo it, and that's the spot I like.
Exactly on the middle diamond.
Well, that kind of, you know, got the most out of the shot without going crazy with it, right? Now he can put a little inside. It's a little nervy. He could come one rail between the 5-6. Not really too many ways to go wrong with that either. I like that myself. Yeah, it's the shot I like. It was just natural. Now he can roll this lightly. If he felt good about it, he could light stun into the 9 just a little bit. I like just rolling it myself.
Yeah, I think you got to roll it. Yeah, the worst thing you want here is the 5 to follow it in. This is just trusting the stroke, trusting the touch. Just like this.
Yeah, he's still got a little into the 9, so no awkward cueing here. Now, is he going to come across or draw up the side rail here, Carl? Either's okay, but the thing is, if he comes across, he's got to get past the side, of course, but not too deep to possibly get straight in. I wouldn't doubt he draws up the rail. He uses the draw stroke a lot. Got a little more into it than he wanted. He's got to come with another.
Looking to break and run consecutively for the first time in the match.
Does he float it? Does he play with the hair of outside? There's a lot of options here. It's right before the side with the cue ball. Really nice. And this is what he does just about every match. Put some racks together.
Yeah, this is his style of game. Winner breaks, 2 or 3 packs.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz wins the rack.
The amount of break and run outs for him, a little lower than normal, but he's timing them immaculately. 11-8, and that for the first time means that Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has a 3-rack buffer zone. He needs only 2 more to maintain his dominance of 9-ball in the last 18 months or so. Jeremy, you've won the US Open. Carl, you've won many, many big titles. When you get to this stage, so close, what's the approach? Is it try and quell the nerves, or try and feel so positive you make yourself invincible?
For me, it was just always about process. Just stick to my process. That, you know, kind of makes you, you know, dilute the situation a little bit. You're not going to be a little nervous, right? But
11 racks
you could see a little bit more of that rhythm from Ruiz here these last couple of racks.
Yeah, the fact that he's won so many big tournaments within a 12-month period, he's going to be feeling a little edgy, but good nerves. He's found the break as well. He really has found the break. Look at this, it's all happening. It's all happening. He's getting the shots off the break. That missed 3-ball from Sufi at 8-8 is proving to be very costly in this final.
FSR seemingly zooming towards the hill.
Yeah, and he does it every match. He runs racks, and I'll tell you what, may not see Sufi again. He's got a lot of work here, and he's got a 6-ball that's not easy, but these are playable, and he's got a great starter. Probably just 1 rail here. It could come 2, depending on the angle on the 2-ball. I'm not sure. Looks like he likes 2, so it must not be a ton of angle. Now the thing is, he wants to get underneath the 3, that way he doesn't have to deal with the 9. Hair flat, Carl? The only reason being pretty crucial where he gets on the 4 to get on the 6. Looks like it's a hair flat.
Yeah, you may see a big power draw here.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
He's not 100% happy.
Code.
Yeah, well, he's stressing about the 6 right now, really is what it is. I think, anyways. He's going to let the draw stroke out here. Wow. Yeah, we're going about 12 feet here, folks.
It's not ideal, is it? Unless he can kill the cue ball again and leave A similar shot to the one he missed earlier on.
The 4. A little more room here.
Yeah, and he knows this is a massive rack, because this is the rack that will put him on the hill with a big margin as well between both himself and Sufi. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, now he's not playing the subtle speed on the cue ball for position on the 7 like he was earlier for the 4, so I think no problem here on the 6.
Cometh the hour, 3 balls away from a hat-trick of break and run-outs in the crux of the match.
I'd be shocked if he didn't. Is there enough angle to come 2 rails? Thought there was, maybe not. He likes the 2 rail position, even if speed control is really, you know, essential. He usually hits his mark pretty well.
This is nice. This is a natural follow. 2 rails, 9-ball in the bottom right corner. 4 racks will be the difference. This is a very good situation to find yourself in a world final.
But nothing is a gimme at this stage. He's a different player these days. He might have been fragile a few years back in this kind of situation. Not now. Winning is a habit.
Yeah, he's put the hard work in, keeps himself fit, practices very hard with his good friend David Al-Qaedi. He served his apprenticeship in the world of pool.
Yeah, that's how most have to do it. You see the big names like Filler and Earl Strickland, who won early in his career, and some others like you mentioned, Federgorst.
Well, let's not forget that Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, who's the great friend of David Al-Qaedi there on the right, Delgado, the other Spanish player, on the left, they're loving it at the moment. Let's not forget that Sanchez Ruiz won the World 9-ball Junior Championship in 2010. Great things were expected, but it didn't transpire until he won the European 9-ball Championship in 2016. But now it's the golden period.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz to break on the hill, leading 12-8.
Yeah, and that's shows you how hard he's kept working through, not winning as much as he would have liked to, and especially seeing David win too as well, right? I mean, he loves seeing David win, of course, but he wanted to be right there with him, and he's going to go here. I think he's got a thin cut on the 2.
Is the fairy tale of Mohammad Soufi about to fizzle out? $25 more balls potted now by FSR than his opponent. There was very little in this, and then suddenly one mistake. The missed 3-ball down the side rail from Soufi in the 17th, and he's not been back to the table since.
Sweet hit there and a subtle speed to hold the cue ball. That one's easy to get away from you, and he's got to make one more really good one here. Tricky little mess on the left side of the table, so after he starts to swing and hit the ball like that, you just don't feel like a miss is coming.
No, he's on a 3-pack.
Extension code.
Obviously, he won the rack when Soufi missed the 8-8 to make it 9-8. He's broken ran the last 3. And he's got a chance for a 4-pack, and a 4-pack that will win him this year's championship. Soufi can take a lot of that out of this, if he goes on to lose this match. He's had chances in the final.
Yeah, but I even saw a little bit of difference earlier with Ruiz, but see how much calmer he is through the ball, and he's really starting to feel it. And a lot of these great players really feed off the break shot, and he's gotten that one going.
All true from both of you, but given the circumstances, given what's at stake, I'm still taking nothing for granted.
He wants a little above angle, that way when he plays this 4-8. Is he going to try and squeeze, or excuse me, 5-8? Is he going to try and squeeze the 5 by?
If the 5 goes by, he'd love to draw the cue ball back. He will go that.
Yeah, and I guess if he had to play a 7-8 combination later in the rack, it's not the worst.
May have to play it in the side, JJ.
Yeah.
Would you play for the combo?
Yeah, and you just keep the angle to come across, right? The 9, across the 9. You don't want to get straight on this combo. Then you have to play it with a touchy speed. If you stay above the 7 towards the center of the table, you just let your stroke out. Very hard to miss the 7-8, and the 7 should be laying up near the corner. Wow. Like the corner, this is going to become way more difficult. And I understand trying to avoid a combination, but that one's a pretty easy combination overall.
Maybe he felt it was a little steep to hold.
Yeah. But you want to cut the 7, right? Don't you? I'm talking about the combination itself.
This could be Soufi's last hope.
Uh-oh. That one was missed right from the get. Right from the get.
Now, what has Soufi got? Not a right lot, but he's back at the table.
Yeah, we haven't seen many of the thin cuts from Soufi. It's been more of the heavier
Settle
shots
down,
that have been
please.
difficult. Now not being to the table in, you know, a good 15 minutes maybe. And this is the
Session
type you
code.
can't shoot hard. Very hard to make this. It's got to be a smooth hit on the 7.
What a shot. What a shot. Back against the wall.
It's got to go as well. And that's, watch out, cross corner, cue ball, upper right.
Three tremendous pots. We were so close to a victory. Now, Mohammad Soufi has the break. He was agonizingly close, wasn't he, to getting his hands on this trophy. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz 3 pots away from being world champion, but then this, undercutting the brown 7 ball. He didn't leave an easy shot at all. Maximum distance between cue ball and brown, but the 7 was cut in, so was the 9, and Mohammad Soufi is now only 3 behind. 4 potential racks left. He has to win them all, but who could possibly dismiss his chances?
Thank you. Rack 22. Mohammad Soufi to break. Trailing 9-12.
This is just a case of 1 rack at a time. The old cliche, keep the match tight. Don't give the match away. He potted a good 9 ball there to stay in this game.
Really good 9 ball. A lot of players, I wouldn't say would. Oh.
The 9 was close to the side. If we get a replay, let's have a look. He's got a shot of the 1. That's all that matters.
Yeah, with the 3 down.
Let's look at the 9 ball here.
I think it was gone, just like early in the match, to be honest with you. Maybe a little high. But really, the break hasn't been his friend in this match at all. And like Ruiz, struggling early, got it going. So you never know. Oh, really nice there.
Yeah, he got good on the 2, didn't he? That's easy to land a little short and a little long, and then you have to start being a bit weird playing the next shot. But he got very good on this. That should be okay. Yes, that's okay. I know it looks a little wide on TV, but That was always going to fall at that angle. This is
looking at short side? I'm sorry, Carl.
Okay, spin the life out the cue ball at 12-9 down in the world final. Why not?
And with inside English. Okay, funny little shot here. Go one rail. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Keep it simple. Just rely on your touch. Yeah. Never know. If he has the opportunity and gets the break going like Ruiz, it's just a matter of who's going to get it done.
This is what he can do, though. He can rattle off a rack in less than a minute, Phil.
Certain racks with him take less time than it does to re-rack the balls and put them back on the table. He's back in the match. Make no mistake. Mohammad Soufi, he's still embracing this. He's still loving it. He's not wilting out there in front of such a huge audience around the world and here in Kielce. 12-10. He needs 3 more racks. And I'll tell you what, fellows, he's well capable.
Yeah, forget the stats for a minute. I know they've come up on your screens, but he has done well here, hasn't he? You know, Sanchez had a chance for the match. We feel he should have played the combo. He didn't. He missed the ball. He cinched a thin one in. He made a tough 9, and he's just had a break and run. He is still in this final. He's got the crowd on his side because he's laughing and joking with him. They've warmed to him. Why not? He's got to use that, and he's got to try and get the crowd
trailing 12-10
to pull him across.
Pressure, yeah, get the pressure on Ruiz. Give it to him, yeah.
That was only his 3rd break and run out of the match, and he's 1st since rack 7.
Yeah, and I think the smiles are because he realizes that the crowd is pulling for him. I think that's as much as anything. Well, he's making a ball. It's not the 1, but when you're not making the 1 may dress up, and looks like the 8 may have gotten in the way. So we'll see Ruiz to the table.
Yes, it looked like he was going to get a shot. As you see, the 1 ball track round, but look at the 8 ball. It's a lot faster, isn't it? And here it comes.
Yeah, and he's almost, we'll get a better look in a moment, but if he's sitting on it, no, it's not a double kiss, so he can figure something out here. Maybe slowly cross the 1 and put him on the back rail trying to use the 8. You can cross the 1 and put, bank it past the side, maybe. I mean, if you give up a shot, it could be curtains. Was he trying to go behind the 4 here, or considering the long rail bank, the crossover?
He's got the push out option as well, let's not forget. I know he can see the 1, but
yeah, I wouldn't push out unless I felt like I could tie a ball up. Maybe I think I'd take this on one way or another.
extension code.
He's gonna try and bank it between the 7-8 maybe and kill the cue ball in the middle of the end rail.
he's attacking this.
He's going for the long rail.
He is, because he's just looked at the cue ball. He's going for the bank into the bottom left corner.
Yeah, it's
a little wild.
He swung.
Where's it going to finish?
Nothing super easy.
It's a little wild.
Yeah.
You should be in the diplomatic corps. It was very wild.
Well, it's the type of bank also, the way it sat, you couldn't really make it hitting it hard. You had to kind of give it time to turn over.
I think a piece of Mohammad knew it wasn't really there. That's why it took so long.
Yeah. But I think he's decided maybe at 12-8, I'm going to go down swinging.
Why not?
Now he's supposed to go ahead and take this on, cutting it in. There is a path, a few rails between the 3 and 9. And not only that, this is a shot he really excels at. I don't think he really needs any check spin and just a straight high ball. Got to hit it clean.
Soufi could have left this easier, much easier.
great shot.
Yes, and it was a favourable flick on the 9. You never know where it's going to go. Whenever you bump into a ball, you're relying on a little bit of form.
Yeah, but to play that at this moment with a hair of a light speed and a little inside spin, that's some nerve right there, and that shows you a 9-ball pool, you got to have it to win big titles. That's maybe over the 4. No, he's okay.
Perfect, JJ.
Yeah, so really, it's going to be 2 shots getting on the 4 proper to get on the 7, and if that happens, I can't see him faltering from there.
There's his second opportunity, remember, to cross that coveted line.
Yeah, but he's so solid technically, decisions-wise, and he's fallen perfect here to just slow draw a little past the side to take the cut. Don't flirt with the 9. Yeah, just like that. Everything natural from here. And they can start to cheer for FSR. Once he lands heavy on this 7, there really are no problems.
This is it, people. Pool fans, new pool fans, 3 balls to go.
The 7 was the stumbling block in rack 21. Not there. Nothing will be, surely. Mohammad Soufi concedes. You know, they say no one remembers who finishes second. They will in this championship. But let's give due credit to the best man in Whirlpool at the moment. He's on the table, and he's on top of the world in so many ways. Miles clear in the 9-ball rankings, out of sight in that regard, and now he's world 9-ball champion for the first time. David Al-Qaedi into the arena, so too his fellow countryman Delgado. Spain has a world champion in 9-ball and in 8-ball as well. Is there any stopping Francisco Sanchez Ruiz? They say nice guys don't finish first. Rubbish. Total rubbish. This guy disproves that theory entirely. What a final. What a great story from Mohammad Soufi. But in the end, the plaudits, the trophy, and $60,000 goes to Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. He's world 9-ball champion in Kielce, Poland, defeating the Syrian by 13 racks to 10.